Welcome Primary 4 with you is Miss Umayma Haney, and today we are going to talk about lesson number 1 and 2 in concept number 1 in unit number 4, which is talking about breaking down of the rocks. Breaking down of the rocks. Okay, and at the first, look at this picture, and who can tell me what happened to this rock? This rock is broken down, right? This rock is broken down. Why? Because of the wind. If there is a strong wind, the wind can break down the rock into very small pieces, and also the wind can move the small pieces of the rock from one place to another place. So this rock is broken down because of the wind. The wind can break down the rock into small pieces, and after that can move the small pieces of the rock into from one place to another place. Number 2, what happened here? In this picture, we can see the coastal rock. The coastal rock are the rocks which I can find them on the beach or inside the water. Again, the coastal rock is a rock that I can find it on the beach or inside the water. Okay, and due to the effect of the sea waves, after many years, the sea waves can make holes or opening, as we can see in this picture. The sea waves can change the shape of the coastal rock. So the coastal rock, I can find it on the beach or inside the water. Okay, and due to the effect of the sea waves can change the shape of the coastal rock, can make opening, can make holes, can break down small parts of it. So this is called coastal rock. And because of the sea waves can change the shape of the coastal rock. From these two pictures, we can note that the earth surface is always a change from one shape to another shape. The earth surface is always a change from one shape to another shape because of the wind, because of the water, because of the weather. Okay, so the earth surface is not stable. The earth surface is always changing from one shape to another shape. Always change from one shape to another shape because of the wind, because of the water, because of the weather. Okay. After that, let's start to talk about the natural erosion. What is the erosion at the first? The erosion is the movement or the moving or transportation of the sand or the small particles of the rocks from one place to another place. This is the erosion. Again, what is the erosion? The erosion is the movement or the moving of the small particles of the rock. When the rock is broken down, the small particles of the rock or the small particles of the sand will move from one place to another place, and this is the erosion. So the erosion is the movement of the rock from one place to the movement of the small pieces of the rock from one place to another place. The movement of the sand from one place to another place. This is the erosion. And the natural erosion, because the natural erosion means erosion made by the nature, made by the wind, made by the water. The water or the wind can move the small particles of the rocks from one place to another place. So this is the natural erosion because it made by the wind, it made by the water, it made by the nature. Okay, it made by environmental factors. Okay, so the natural erosion means the movement of the small particles of the rocks from one place to another place. This is the erosion. And the natural erosion, because the erosion made by the wind, made by the water, made by natural factors. Okay, so the wind and the water are responsible for the erosion. The wind and the water can move or transport the small particles of the rocks from one place to another place. So this is the natural erosion. The natural erosion means the movement of the rocks, of the small pieces of the rocks from one place to another place, by the wind or by the water. And let's take an example of the natural erosion. Do you know, as we can see in this picture, do you know what is this? This is called sandcastle. This is called sandcastle. And the sandcastle, which is children build it on the beach. Okay? The sandcastle, which is children build it on the beach. Okay, I want to ask you one question. If there is some children build the sandcastle on the beach, and after that, at the same time, there is a strong sea wave come and hit it. What happened to the sandcastle? The sandcastle will be damaged. Why? Because the sea waves hit it and damage it, and the sea waves can move the small particles of the sandcastle from one place to another place. So the sandcastle will disappear. Again, this is called sandcastle. This is called sandcastle, okay? Which is that children build it on the beach. Okay, what happens if there is some children build the sandcastle on the beach, and at the same time there is sea wave come and hit it? What happened to the sandcastle? It will disappear. Why? Because the sea waves damage it, and after that move the small particles of the sand from one place to another place. So the sandcastle will disappear, and the disappearance of the sandcastle is considered as a natural erosion, because the small particles of the sand move from one place to another place by the water. So this is natural erosion. So again, an example of the natural erosion, like the disappearance of the sandcastle. When the sandcastle disappears because of the sea wave, this is the natural erosion. Look at this picture. What happened to the sandcastle? It disappeared because of the sea waves. When the sea waves hit the sandcastle will disappear because the sea waves damage it and take the small particles of the sand from one place to another place. And we must know that the water and the wind is responsible for the disappearance of the sandcastle, or responsible for the erosion. The erosion made by the wind or made by the water. And number two, we must know that the sand is coming from breaking down of the rock. When the rock is broken down, it will be sand, but broken down into very, very, very small pieces. The sand is coming or formed from breaking down of the rock. The sand is formed from breaking down of the rock. When the rock is broken down, it will be sand. The sand is formed from breaking down the rock. Okay, and at the first of the session, I said that the Earth's surface is not stable. On the Earth's surface, there is a changes happen. These changes may be fast, may be slow, maybe fast, maybe slow. Okay, so let's take an example of the slow changes. What is the meaning of slow changes and the fast changes? Fast changes mean changes that happen in a very short time. In 1 minute, in 1 second, in 1 day. This is the fast changes that happen in a very short time. Like what? Like the disappearance of the sandcastle. The disappearance of the sandcastle is considered as fast changes, because it happened in a very short time. When the sea wave come and hit the sandcastle will disappear. So this is fast changes. Okay, and what about the slow changes? Slow changes are the changes that happen in a very long time, in many years. Okay, so the slow changes are the changes that happen in a very long time, like many years. Like what? Like the change of the shape of the coastal rocks. The coastal rocks the change of the shape of the coastal rocks is considered as slow changes because it happened after many years because of the sea waves. When the sea waves hit the coastal rocks, the sea waves can change the shape of the coastal rocks, but after many years. So it takes a very long time to be changed. So slow changes mean changes take very long time to be happened. And the fast changes mean changes take a very short time. Fast changes like the disappearance of the sandcastle, and slow changes like the changing of the shape of the coastal rocks. Okay, after that, let's start to talk about the similarity between the sandcastle and the coastal rocks. The similarity mean they are looking similar in what? Okay, the sandcastle and the castle rocks look similar in what? Number one, both of them has steep needle parts. Steep needle parts mean what? Mean sharp parts at the top, as we can see in this picture. Both of them has sharp parts at the top. Sharp parts at the top. Steep needle parts mean sharp parts at the top. So both of them, both the sandcastle and the coastal rocks, both of them have sharp parts or steep needle parts at the top. Number two, both of them have sloping side or inclined side. Sloping or inclined side. What is the meaning of a sloping or inclined side? Both of them, the sides of both of them are sloping. What is the meaning of a sloping? Look like the slide. Do you know the slide? Which is that children play with it. Okay, in another meaning, if you put a toy car or anything at the side of the sandcastle or the coastal rock, the toy car will move down very fast. Why? Because because both of them have sloping side or inclined side. Inclined or sloping side mean the sides of both of them are sloping. Sloping mean look like the slide. If you put anything on the sides of the castle rock or the coastal rocks or the sandcastle, the toy car will move down very fast because it has sloping side or inclined side. Okay, number three, and finally, the water and the wind create or make their shapes. We know that the wind and the water can damage, and this can make the sandcastle disappear. When the sea waves or the water hit the sandcastle, the sandcastle will disappear because the sea wave or the wind or the water moves the sand of the sandcastle from one place to another place. Okay, what about the coastal rock? The coastal rock can be changed because of the sea waves. When the sea waves hit it after many years, the sea waves can change the shape of the coastal rock. So both of them, the water and the wind, create their shape. Okay, after that, the canyon. Do you know what is a canyon? Okay, look at this picture. At the first, this is called the valley. The area between the two mountains where there is a river move through it, this is called the valley. If there is mountain and another mountain and there is river move through or move between the two mountains, this is a valley. As we can see in this picture. And when the valley become very deep because of the moving water, when the water move between the two mountains, the valley become very deep after many years. So it will be canyon. The canyon is a deep valley. What is the valley? The valley is the area between the two mountains where there is river move through it. This is the valley. And because of the moving water, the effect of the moving water, when the water moves through between the two mountains, the effect of the moving water makes the valley very deep. The valley become very deep, so it will be canyon. The canyon is a deep valley. The canyon is a deep valley. What is the valley? The valley is the area between the two mountains where there is water move through it. This is the valley. And when the valley becomes very deep, it will be canyon. So the canyon is a deep valley curved by flowing water or moving water. When the water move for many years, when the water move for many years in the valley becomes very deep, so it will be canyon. So the canyon is a deep valley. Okay, the canyon is a deep valley. So I want to ask you one question. The canyon is slow changes is considered as slow changes or faster changes? It's a slow changes because the canyon is a deep valley, but after many years the valley become very deep and it will be canyon. So the canyon take many years to be formed. So the canyon is considered as a slow changes. Considered as a slow changes. The canyon is considered as a slow changes because it take many years to be formed one more time. Okay. So again, the canyon take many years to be formed, so the canyon is considered as a slow changes. And number 2, the canyon also has a steep needle bars at the top, sloping side, and the water can create its shape. Okay, one more time. The canyon is a slow changes because it takes many years to be formed. And also it has steep needle bars at the top, sloping side, and the water can create its shape. Okay, and at the first of the session, I said that the Earth's surface is not stable. There is changes happen on the Earth's surface. And the process that happen on the Earth's surface that make the Earth's surface change, we have 3 processes. We have 3 processes that make or happen on the Earth's surface and make the Earth's surface change, makes the Earth's surface change. What are these 3 processes? At the first, look at this picture. What happened to this rock? In this picture, look at this rock at the top of the mountain or at the top of the hill. What happened to this rock? This rock is broken down, right? Because of the weather. If there is rain, if there is wind, if there is high temperature and after that low temperature in the winter, because of the temperature or the wind or the rain, because of the weather, the rock is broken down. And the breaking down of the rock is called weathering. So in area number A, this rock is broken down. It's broken down into very small pieces, and this is called weathering. After that, the small pieces of the rock will move from one place to another place. So this is called erosion. The small pieces of the rock. When the small pieces of the rock move from one place into another place by the wind, by the water, okay, this is called erosion. And after that, when the small pieces of the rock settle means dropping in the new place, this is called deposition. So we have weathering, erosion, deposition. Weathering, erosion, deposition. What is the weathering? The weathering is a breaking down of the rock into very small pieces or into sediment. The sediment is a small pieces of the rock or the sand. Okay, so this breaking down of the rock into very small pieces or into sediment, this is the weathering. And after that, the small pieces of the rock or the sediment move from one place to another place. This is called erosion. And when the small pieces of the rock dropping or settle in the new place, this is called deposition. So we have weathering, erosion, and deposition. Weathering, erosion, and deposition. After that, we know that the weathering is a breaking down of the rock into very small pieces, into sediment. The weathering is breaking down of the rock into very small pieces or into sediment. This is the weathering. And we have 2 types of weathering. We have mechanical or physical weathering and the chemical weathering. The weathering is a breaking down of the rock into very small pieces. And we have 2 types of weathering. We have mechanical weathering and the chemical weathering. Mechanical and the chemical weathering. Let's start with the mechanical weathering. What is the mechanical weathering? The mechanical weathering is a type of weathering, so it's a breaking down of the rock into small pieces by the physical factors, by natural factors, by environmental factors like wind, like water, like plant roots, like temperature. So the weathering is a breaking down of the rock into small pieces, right? And we have two types. Type number one is called the mechanical. So it's a type of weathering. So it's a breaking down of the rock into small pieces by physical factors. Physical factors mean natural factors. Natural factors mean environmental factors like wind, like water, like plant roots, like temperature. So let's just start with the rule or the wind. What does the wind do in the mechanical weathering, or how can the wind help in the mechanical weathering? At the first, the wind can carry the sand from one place to another place, as we can see in this picture. Okay, during moving the sand, if there is rock in the way of the sand, there is friction happen between the rock and the sand, and after or over time, due to the friction between the sand and the rock become very weak and the rock is broken down. So, how can the wind help in the mechanical weathering? The wind help in the mechanical weathering by number one, carrying the sand from one place to another place. After that, if there is rock in the way of the sand, there is friction happen between the sand and the rock. There is friction happen between the sand and the rocks. Due to the effect of the friction between the sand and the rock become very weak and is broken down. Number two, the water. The water from the river, from the rain, from the ocean, any water. When the water run over the rock, as we can see in this picture number one, as we can see in this picture, when the water run over the rock, water from the rain, from the river, from the ocean, from the sea, any water, when the water run from the waterfalls, okay, when the water run over the rock, over many years, the water can dissolve some substance of the rock. The rock made of substance and minerals, right? So the water can dissolve the substance of the rock. So the rock become very weak, and after that is broken down. So how can the water help in the mechanical weathering? When the water run over the rock, the water can dissolve some substance of the rock. After that, the rock become very weak, as we can see in this picture, and broken down. Number three, the plant roots. How can the plant roots help in the mechanical weathering? Okay, sometimes some plant can grow above the rock. Some plants can grow above the rock or in the rock, and the plant roots or the roots of the plant can grow inside the rock, as we can see in this picture. Okay, the roots of the plant can grow inside the rock, so the roots can make cracks, can make distance, okay, can make cracks of the rock. So again, sometimes the plants, there are some plants grow above the rock, okay, and the plant roots grow inside the rock, so the plant roots can make cracks, okay. The cracks over time become very wide and become wider, and after that the rock can broken down. the rock is broken down, as we can see in this picture. So the plant roots also can help in the mechanical weathering by the plant roots growing inside the rock. So the plant roots can make cracks. The cracks over time become very wide, and after that the rock is broken down, as we can see here. Okay, after that, and finally, number 4, the temperature. How can the temperature help in the mechanical weathering? Okay, at the first, if there is water from the rain or from the river, from the ocean, any water flow or fall on the rock, the water will go inside the cracks. The water will go inside the cracks. Okay. After that, what happened, as we can see in this picture, when the water go inside the cracks, after that the winter is come and the temperature become very cold, so the water will be ice. The water will be ice. Okay, and the ice will expand or make the cracks very wide. Again, when the water fall on the rock, after that the water will go inside the cracks, and when the temperature become very cold, the water will change into ice, and the ice will expand the cracks. Expand mean the cracks become very wide. After that the summer will come, and that the ice will melt, and it will change into water. And one more time the winter will come one more time, and the water it will be ice. And because of the cycle of the water from freezing into melting, because of the cycle of the water, the cracks become very wide and the rock is broken down. So again, at the first the water fall on the rock. Okay, and after that the water will go to the cracks, inside the cracks. And when the temperature become very cold, the water will change into ice. The ice will expand mean make the cracks very wide. After that the temperature become high, and the ice will melt and change into water. The water will go inside the white cracks one more time, Okay, and after that the winter will come one more time, and the water will be ice, and the ice will expand or make the cracks more wider. Okay, so the rock after that will be broken down. The rock after that will be broken down. Look at this picture. The water from the rain will go inside the cracks. After that the weather become very cold, so the water will be ice. The ice will expand. Expand mean the cracks very wide. Make the cracks very wide. And after that the summer will come, and the ice will be water, and the water will go inside the white cracks. And after that the winter will come one more time, and the water will be ice, and the ice makes the cracks more wider. And after that the rock is broken down. Okay. Number 2, the chemical weathering. From its name, it's called chemical, so there's chemical reaction happen between the rock and another material. Okay, let's start with the chemical weathering. The chemical weathering is a type of weathering, so it is a breaking down of the rock into small pieces with a change of the structure of the rocks. There is a change happen of the structure of the rocks Because of chemical reaction. There is chemical reaction happen between the rock and another material or another substance. Okay? And this, because of the chemical reaction, there is a change happen of the structure of the rock. Okay? And makes the rock is broken down. So again, the chemical reaction, from its name, it's called the chemical. So there is chemical reaction happen, and there is another or new product will be formed. Okay? So chemical reaction, the chemical weathering is a type of weathering. So it is a breaking down of the rock with a change of the structure of the rock. There is a change happen of the structure of the rock. There is a change happen of the rock structure. Okay, because of chemical reaction, there is chemical reaction happen between the rock and another material, and there is new product will be formed. So the chemical reaction or the chemical weathering is a type of weathering happen when there is chemical reaction happen between the rock and another material. Another material like what? Like the oxygen from the air, like the water, like the acid rain, like the acid produced from any living organisms. So the chemical reaction in the chemical weathering, there is chemical reaction happen between the rock and another material. Let's start with the oxygen. There is chemical reaction happen between the rock and the oxygen from the air. There is oxygen of the air which we breathe it, okay? And there is chemical reaction happen between the rock and the oxygen. The rock made of many minerals. One of them is the iron. Okay, so the rock made of many types of minerals. One of them is the iron. When the iron of the rock is reacted with the oxygen of the air, react with the iron of the rock, it will form it where the oxygen, and when the oxygen react with the iron of the rock, there is rust will be formed. Do you know what is the rust? Yes, the rust is substance formed when something made of iron react with the water and the oxygen from the air. Means if there is anything made of iron react with the oxygen of the air and the water, it will be formed rust. It will be formed rust. So when the oxygen of the air react with the iron of the rock has iron, okay, and the oxygen of the air react with the iron of the rock, so it will form rust. And the rust makes the rock very weak, so the rock will break down. Again, at the first, how can the oxygen help in the chemical weathering? There is a chemical reaction happen between the rock and the iron of between the oxygen and the iron of the rock. Okay, and there is rust will be formed. Because of the rust makes the rock very weak. So the rock is broken down after that. Okay, so there is chemical reaction happen between the oxygen of the air and the iron of the rock, and because of this chemical reaction, there is rust will be formed, and the rock become very weak and is broken down. Okay, number 2, the water. The water, how can the water help in the chemical reaction? There is chemical reaction happen between the water and the rock. Okay, at the first, when the water react with the rock, the water can dissolve some minerals of the rock. The rock made of many minerals. One of them is the iron, okay, and the calcium. Okay, so when the water react with the rock, the water can dissolve some minerals. Some minerals of the rock. After that, the minerals that dissolve from the rock will combine or collect together, but form another or new shape. This shape is called the limestone. As we can see in this picture, this is the limestone. So again, when the water reacts with the rock, the water can dissolve some minerals of the rock. After that, these minerals will combine combine together one more time and form new shapes. These shapes are called limestone cave. Limestone cave. So the limestone are coming from the dissolved minerals. When the dissolved minerals of the rock combine together one more time, it will be limestone. It will be limestone. Okay, number 3, the acid rain. Do you know what is the acid rain? When the carbon dioxide increase of the air, the carbon dioxide will mix with the water of the air. There is water vapor of the air, and the carbon dioxide mix with the water of the air and form acid rain. And form what? Acid rain. So the acid rain is coming from the mix between the carbon dioxide and the water of the air. When the water of the air mix with the carbon dioxide, it will be acid rain. Okay, how can the acid rain help in the chemical reaction? The acid rain, when the acid rain fall on the rock, the acid rain can dissolve some minerals, and as we can see in this picture, because of the dissolving of some minerals of the rock will become very weak, and it will break down into very small pieces. So the acid rain is the rain coming from the mixture or the mix between the carbon dioxide and the water of the air. When the acid rain fall on the rock, the acid rain can dissolve the minerals of the rock. Okay, so the rock become very weak and break down after that. Number 4, and finally, the acids that produced from the living organisms. Okay, there is tiny plant or tiny organism called lichen. Called what? Lichen. The lichen is a tiny plant or tiny organism produce acid. So the lichen produce acid. When the lichen grow on the rock, and produce the acid can dissolve some minerals of the rock, so the rock become very weak and is broken down. As we can see in this picture, this is the lichen, and the lichen is a tiny plant or tiny organism produce acid. When the lichen grow on the rock, as we can see in this picture, when the lichen grow on the rock, the lichen produce acid, and the acid can dissolve the minerals of the rock, so the rock become very weak and is broken down. Okay, so what is the difference between the mechanical and the chemical weathering? In the mechanical weathering, the rock is broken down into small pieces without it changing of the structure of the rock. The structure of the rock doesn't change. But in the chemical weathering, there is chemical reaction happen. Look here, there is chemical reaction happen, and the structure of the rock will be changed because there is chemical reaction happen between the rock and another substance like oxygen from the air, like water, like acid rain, like the lichen. Okay, so the weathering, we have two types of weathering: mechanical and the chemical. The mechanical, in it, the structure of the rock doesn't change, but in the chemical weathering, the structure of the rock change because there is chemical reaction happen between the rock and another substance. Okay, finally, thanks for listening. With you is Miss Umayma Hani, and goodbye.